So compliance is sometimes seen as a burden or even a blocker, but with the right approach, it can actually become a driver of growth. So, Ashley, why do you think compliance often gets that blocker label, and how do you help your customers flip that perception?
Yeah, I think it's so important and foundational to building a strong program. But for many organizations, compliance has traditionally been seen as that checkbox exercise to satisfy auditors and acquire documentation that you've done so. Really, a cost center, if we want to just be honest about it. It consumes resources without driving revenue. It's often viewed as even a blocker. I know, I've heard where sales teams feels like that actually just slows things down. Also can really slow down product development, innovation. But this is so far from the truth if you do it right. And that's what I think we want to emphasize. That's the olden days of compliance. Now, if you're being innovative, using innovative tools, we can flip this narrative on its head. And I talk to customers daily who have done exactly that and are coming to Drata, coming to our Safe Base by Drata product to enable that. A common point of friction during the sales cycle isn't the security questionnaire itself, believe it or not. It's a necessary part of due diligence, but it's the fact that answering it manually can drag on for weeks, creating unnecessary delays, both for the customer and the company. And so I think the key here is maximizing efficiency. And that's been a trend in all of our conversations that we've had, Hannah. The Draw to Trust Center acts as a self-service portal, providing prospects with transparent access to security posture to accelerate the deal review. Let's be honest. This is a place like, let's take the humans out. We don't need someone sending an NDA manually and signing it and then sending another email with a SOC 2 report. We don't need that. We want to accelerate. So I want to be clear though, I don't get me wrong. Complex questionnaires will still require attention, but it's where you can leverage the AI automation to really get through that first pass. And that's where our safe base AI QA functionality streamlines that manual lift, ensuring your security team can prioritize immediate threats rather than endless administrative work. So you run the questionnaire through the AI QA functionality, get the proposed answers, but there's a human reviewing them to ensure that they represent the company appropriately. And obviously, every questionnaire you answer, it's going to continue to build on the quality of those answers themselves. Now, on the other side, I think Drata flips this narrative by making compliance more automated and continuous. I know when I first started working in this field, I was like, wait, you just show like a screenshot to prove that you do something every day of the year? How does that doesn't make sense? And so, Drata takes it where we're measuring every single day to help you ensure that you're doing the right thing. So we're turning it from that one-time burden into actually a source of confidence. Because I can imagine feeling so nervous to go into an audit when you're like, well, I think we're doing everything right, but we won't really know until the auditor checks it, where continuous automation makes sure you know every single day. So our platform really automates evidence collection, so teams are always aware of where they stand. I have customers that say, I love when a test turns red that points out that I'm not doing something right, because I didn't want to wait and 6 months into my next audit to have them pointed out. So they're not having to wait. And I think that really provides so much confidence, and not just confidence for your GRC and security teams. This is confidence for your sales and customer success teams, because if you make this part of your culture, they're going to know we do the right thing, we measure it every day, and we find issues, we address them. So we're allowing companies to be proactive and build that confidence. And this is what the new reality should be. Compliance is a strategic differentiator that really empowers trust, growth, and speed within the sales cycle, which I know we all like to hear.
Yeah, absolutely, Ashley. And I think it relates to your earlier point as well about shifting from that reactivity to proactivity as well. I think a really good way for us to talk about this is using a customer example. So a customer shared a really nice story with us recently. They'd been investing very heavily in their compliance accreditations. They were the first in their sector to achieve a new one. So when they go into this competitive bid, they've already got the credibility on the table. I think what really set them apart, linking to your point, is being able to show that strong and robust security posture alongside it. So that combination together was really what helped them win that deal. Think in their own words, they're not the no police anymore. They're seen as that positive force that really helps to win and drive deals. And then thinking about that commercial impact, how have you seen compliance and a strong security posture together help customers accelerate their business growth?
Yeah, absolutely. This is where we see really the strategic payoff of reframing compliance as trust management. It allows organizations to achieve many things, but let's go through just a couple. Faster sales cycles, like I mentioned, everyone wants to hear that. Proof of compliance is ready at the start of the conversation, not as a last minute blocker. You don't want to be scrambling when you have that first big 6-7 figure deal and they're asking you, well, how do you protect our data, to figure that out. Then you want it ready at the start of the conversation, and even better if it's in that trust center to say, hey, take a look right here. The second thing, higher win rates. Trust becomes a competitive advantage, and I see this daily where customers won't even assess a platform if they don't have those core compliance standards in place. And so it's really, you either do these things or you're going to get left behind. Third, I would say stronger brand equity. Security and trust become part of the company's identity, and that's a huge win for any company. Because again, we know the current climate and that you have to be very particular about who you work with because of some of the challenges we've seen. Our customer sign-in solutions is really a great example. They used their Drata Trust Center as a competitive advantage to proactively share their security posture. My contact there, he tells me that our Trust Center is business critical. Like, this is one of the most important pieces of software that they own, because it literally moves their deals forward. It ensures revenue is brought in. Because of how they've been using the Trust Center, they were able to accelerate their sales cycles and ensure security became a strategic enabler rather than a barrier to deals. My contact there talks to me about how he's the sales team's favorite person. He's in their meetings, he's talking to them all the time because they now see him as really an advocate for them and an enabler. For them, compliance wasn't a cost, it was a key part of their business strategy. And that's how it should be. Ultimately, the key takeaway is that compliance is not a cost we should be trying to minimize. It's an investment in trust, and trust is the most powerful driver of growth in today's economy.
Absolutely. I think it's really encouraging in the cybersecurity space to hear that sort of proactivity and the support that security and compliance is really getting. I think we've got a very similar example with a customer that told us that thanks to both compliance certifications and the security posture that they've been able to achieve with Intruder, security has also become the fastest part of their sales cycle, which frankly was unheard of before. What used to slow down deals is now one of their biggest strengths. I think from our side, there's various ways that Intruder can make this a little bit easier for customers. So for example, things like emerging threat scans, they can help them stay ahead of whenever a new vulnerability hits the headlines. Or our cloud integrations, which mean that newly deployed services are found and they're scanned automatically. We've also then got the compliance ready reports. So feeding into that readiness theme, don't have to wait and manually sort of trawl through historic or old data to find out what's the state of play right now. So one click straight through our integration to give them the proof that they need. I think all in all, the combination of all of these factors means that customers can now walk into enterprise conversations with a real confidence, which is something that we're seeing more and more than ever before.